Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Action PC matchup. Of course, we did the final 32 for NCAA. Now we got to do the Sweet 16. So Purdue, the 27 seed, who shocked number 6 UConn, takes on number 1 UCLA. So it's Purdue UCLA, which is ironic because John Wooden, the legendary coach of UCLA, once was a national champion for Purdue before the NCAA took control of the national title. So Purdue versus UCLA. So this will be a huge one. Game 1, here we go.
The final score, Purdue 108, UCLA 106.
Wow.
Purdue was led by Robinson with 28 points, Dishinger with 27 points. UCLA was led by Miller with 23 points, Goodrich with 31 points, 13 assists.
I think I pushed a button or something. Okay, there we go. Ah, shoot. What did I do? What did I do? Jeff, you dum-dum. What did you do? I pushed the wrong button. Because Purdue won 108, 106. Yeah, I get that. Nope. Nuts. Purdue won 108, 106. Oh, you saw that. But yeah, Purdue won by 2 points. So Purdue could beat UCLA. Wow. So I'm going to do the untraditional thing and go switch up. I'm going to switch up to Utah, Kentucky, right? Yep. Utah versus Kentucky. So Utah, ranked number 22, will face number 2 Kentucky. Well, UCLA beat USC, Kentucky beat Iowa. Forgot to mention that. Utah and number 22 shocked number 11 Michigan State. Excuse me. Never mind that Boston thing. It's there for stupid reason. I don't know why.
The final score, Boston 120, Utah 108.
Good.
Boston was led by Izzo with 23 points, Krizo with 11 points, 10 rebounds, Cox with 13 points, 12 rebounds, Delk with 30 points, 8 rebounds. Utah was led by Bogut with 29 points, 9 rebounds, Newland with 20 points.
So yes, you see Andre Miller, you see Newland, Johnny Chambers, Bogut, 29 points. Tom Chambers, Jackson, King Van Horn. Kentucky with Dampier, Delk, Hagan, and Groza. Good guys. Izzo and Kenny Walker. Gibbons a beard. My apologies. I don't know what. I guess I pushed the wrong button. So yeah, so Kentucky has the lead. Ohio State versus North Carolina. So yeah, so Ohio State versus North Carolina. Ohio State, number 20, they made the upset of number 13, Oklahoma State. Number 3, UNC beat up on Minnesota. So let's see what happens here.
The final score, Ohio State 88, North Carolina 86. Whoa. Ohio State was led by Hobson with 22 points, 10 rebounds. North Carolina was led by Rosenbluth with 21 points, Smith with 12 points, 10 assists, Hansbrough with 13 points, 11 rebounds.
Wow, that's a shocker. Yeah, Scooty Penn right there, Jim Jackson, Dennis Hobson, John Havlicek, Jerry Lucas, Greg Oden playing 5 minutes, Michael Red only played 2 minutes. There's Kenny Smith, Charlie Scott, Vince Carter, Tyler Hansbrough, Lenny Rosenbluth being the starters. Michael Jordan only played 11 minutes, Jamison 10 minutes, Stackhouse 2 minutes, Doherty a minute, and Phil Ford 2 minutes. So Ohio State Kachi. So that's a huge one. Ohio State could upset North Carolina. But remember, it's 2 games, and the point differential does matter. Excuse me. All right, so Michigan and Duke are going toe-to-toe today. So, yeah, these 2 teams, big famous. Michigan, number 18, took care of number 15, Arkansas, against my wishes. And number 4, Duke, took care of St. John's. So, we'll see who wins this one.
The final score, Duke 98, Michigan 92. Duke was
Duke
led
by
by
6.
Williams with 21 points, 13 assists, Boozer with 20 points, 10 rebounds. Michigan was led by Russell with 29 points, Tomjanovich with 11 points, 10 rebounds, Rice with 26 points.
So Cassie, Russell, and Glenn Rice doing their job. Robinson not doing his job. Tomjanovich, Bunton, Chris Webber only playing 18 minutes. Jalen Rose 5 minutes. Jordan Howard 3 minutes. So yeah, Jason Williams 21 points for Duke. Johnny Mullins with 13. Shane Battier with 11. Shane Battier with Carlos Boozer with 20. Johnny Dawkins with a pair. Ran 10 points and 10 minutes off the bench. You see Danny Ferry, Art Heyman, and Bobby Hurley. So yeah, got that. Next up will be Georgetown versus Indiana. I wonder what Indiana's BK. Do they have a BK? I think they do. They do. So yeah, we'll do the BK for those matchups. Georgetown versus Indiana. Georgetown at number 16 took care of number 17 Marquette. And number 5 Indiana took care of number 28 Texas. So let's set this up.
The final score, Georgetown 92,
Wow.
Indiana 71. Georgetown was led by Iverson with 18 points, 14 assists, Williams with 24 points. Indiana was led by.
Wow, that's a shocker. Georgetown by 21 points. Wow, what a win for Georgetown. This could be an upset. Got AI, Sleepy Floyd, Alonzo Mourning, Patrick Ewing. There's Mutombo, our fellow Harrington. Wow, I'm surprised with that. Indiana, well, Alfred and Woodson didn't really do anything in the backcourt. Emerson and Benson. See Guyton and Oladipo and White and Bailey. So that's shocking that Indiana got their asses whooped by 21. Georgetown will be pulling an upset, probably. All right, so that's that. Let's go with Arizona, Kansas. So Arizona versus Kansas. Arizona, number 14, took care of number 18 UNLV, and number 7 Kansas took care of number 26 Oklahoma. So we'll see what happens here.
The final score, Kansas 95, Arizona 76. Kansas was led by Chamberlain with 24 points, 19 rebounds, Manning with 20 points. Arizona was led by.
I hate this. Both teams have that weird line to it. So, yeah, so Garner, Jason Terry, Sean Elliott, Luke Walton, Michael Dickerson, Khalid Reeds, David Steinmeier. All right. And then Kansas had Mason Valentine, Paul Pierce, Danny Manning, Will Chamberlain, Collison was there, Chalmers, Heinrich. So yeah, 95-76 Kansas, so they win. And then you got NC State Louisville. So NC State Louisville. NC State number 12 took care of number 21 Syracuse. Shocker. Well, Syracuse almost pulled the upset, but NC State went to Syracuse won. Number 8 Louisville took care of number 25 West Virginia. So that's what happens here.
The final score, Louisville 105, NC State 78. Louisville was led by Ellison with 14 points, 10 rebounds. Wheat with 31 points. NC State was led by Carr with 22 points, 13 rebounds.
So yeah, so David Thompson and Carr. I don't know who that Carr is. Not Austin Carr. Tom Burleson, 11 points. Julius Hodge, 2 points in only 20 minutes. Gugliotta, Bailey, Shackelford, Del Negro. You see them? Louisville. You see the guys with Daryl Griffith, Purvis Ellison, Miles Turner, Wes Unseld, Clifford Rozier, the Beard Boys, Ronnie McRae, and Junior Bridgman. Exhibition time. And now we got Cincy and Villanova. So one of these guys will play. Cincy number 10 took care of number 23 Illinois, and number 9 Philadelphia took care of number 24 Notre Dame. So we'll see what happens here.
The final score, Villanova 94, Cincinnati 91. Villanova was led by Melchini with 27 points. Cincinnati was led by Robertson with 23 points, 7 rebounds, 12 assists. Martin with 20 points, 9 rebounds.
So yeah, the big go: Oscar Robertson, Tom Thacker, Jack Twyman, Kenyon Martin, Danny Fortson. Nice job. Villanova, Randy Floyd, Marchielli, Paul Risen, Paul Presley, Harold Porter, you see Ford, Pickney, and Kittles. 35 seconds for Kittles. My bother putting in, but Villanova wins by 3. So as is right now, there are 3 upsets. So Purdue, if game 1 means anything, Purdue would pull the upset and face Kentucky in the quarterfinals. Ohio State would face Duke. Georgetown would face Kansas, and Louisville and Villanova would battle each other. So yeah, so that would be huge. But remember, this is not for sure. UCLA and Purdue. So let's see. UCLA has work to do. But UCLA is only down by 2, so if they crush Purdue in a fine powder, they'll be okay.
The final score, Purdue 99,
wow.
UCLA 95.
Purdue
quarter. Was led by Robinson with 30 points, 9 rebounds. Johnson with 21 points, 8 rebounds. UCLA was led by Vandeweghe with 26 points, wow. 9 rebounds. Walton with 21 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Goodrich with 14 points, 14 assists.
Wow, how the hell did that team not win the game? That fourth quarter was pathetic. UCLA might have had the points thing. But yeah, UCLA lost. Kiki with 26, Bill Walton with 21. Yeah. Like, the bench didn't do anything other than Knowles. The bench didn't do anything. Purdue's bench did something. Garrett had 14 points. Their bench was bad with Joe barely cares. Wow, Purdue was a big star in the 30s and 40s. That's probably why they look so good. So Purdue, the 27 seed to start this, is now in the quarterfinals. They took down UCLA. Well, I know the Lakers went out. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Bizarro land. Bizarro world. Like, honestly. All right, so Kentucky faces Utah. Kentucky has a big advantage, if you will. But we'll see. Anything can happen.
The final score, Boston 93,
Kentucky
Utah 90.
Sweeps.
Boston was led by Grizzo with 12 points, 16 rebounds. Utah was led by Newland with 24 points.
So Kentucky beats Utah thanks to Delk's 12 points. Yeah, look at that. Walker, 16 points in 19 minutes off the bench. They just knew how to get the points. Hagan and Groza didn't really play that many minutes. That's why Izzo and Walker were scoring points left, right, and center. Utah, they had some guys like Doliak, Burden. But yeah, Newland 24 points. So Boston won. Well, that's Kentucky. So Kentucky will face Purdue in the quarterfinals. Kentucky was kind of expected to make the rounds. And now we'll have OSU, North Carolina at OSU. That's right. It's got to be the other way around because Ohio State's hosting this time. North Carolina this time. And Ohio State's got the advantage somehow. Message.
The final score, Ohio State 101, wow. North Carolina
Upset
82.
City.
Ohio State was led by Lucas with 31 points, 10 rebounds. Penn with 20 points, 9 assists. North Carolina was led by Smith with 12 points, 14 assists.
Holy shit. So OSU by 19 points. Can you believe it? Ohio State beat North Carolina in the series. So now Ohio State goes to the quarterfinals. That's a 20. That's number 20. Wow, that's unbelievable. Scooty Penn, 20 points. 31 points by Lucas. You got Campbell. They didn't really need the bench. North Carolina got into foul trouble, I think. 19 points by Scott and Hansborough. The bench did okay, but Michael Jordan shouldn't be. Michael Jordan should be a starter instead of Scott, Charlie Scott, at least. But that's okay. Well, Ohio State Kachi. All right, seasons. So we'll just get this going. It is Michigan and Duke. Well, Duke has to go to Michigan. Right, it's the other way around. You have to go to Michigan. Let's see what happens here.
The final score, Michigan 94, Duke 83. Michigan was led by Tomjanovich with 15 points, 11 rebounds, Rice with 21 points, 9 rebounds. Duke was led by Battier with 23 points,
Wow.
Boozer with 20 points.
That's a shocker. Yeah, Kentucky went there. 94-83, so that's 11. Well, Michigan wins by 5. Oh, man, Duke is lucky because the point differential is now 5. Duke won by 6, Michigan won by 11, so that's 5 points to Michigan. But guess what? The rules are 5 points or fewer. So guess what? Duke gets to play Michigan again. It's a third game. They do have a tiebreak. They'll have to play the tiebreaker. Wow, Duke did enough, kind of. Battier and Boozer did quite well. Michigan didn't really have the scoring. Weber got 14 points off the bench because he had to play. Green and Rose, not so much. But yeah, great job, Hurley and Brandon. Very. So Duke survives, kind of. So they will play one game. Duke will be the home team at a neutral court. It's not best of 7 yet. Or best of 5. All right. Indiana. Excuse me. They're going to try that with Georgetown. Indiana and Georgetown. Yeah, they're going to do that. Indiana says we can do it with any team we want. And that's what we're going to do. Well, Georgetown has a 21-point advantage. So Georgetown could crush Indiana in the five powder. Who knows? Who cares?
The final score, Indiana 86, Georgetown 72. Georgetown was led by Sweetney with 23 points.
So 23 by Sweetney. 86-72, so that's 14, right? 72, 86, 14 is 7. Not enough. So Georgetown had a 21-point advantage. Indiana decided to use their second roster, and they won. They won, but they only won by 14. Yeah, they only won by 14. That means that. Oh, you're funny. You're embarrassing me. So anyway, yeah, Indiana cut the deficit to 7, but the rules are 5 points or fewer. So because Georgetown won by 7 combined, they win. So Indiana's out. It's Georgetown in the next round. Unbelievable. But yeah, Indiana didn't win by enough. Not enough. Not enough. Kansas will use their BK Best Colleges team because why not? Because they have to. Because you have to. And they will take on Arizona. So Kansas and Arizona have to face each other. Kansas has a 19-point lead, right? Yes, they do. And they only have a 19-point lead.
The final score, Arizona 103, Kansas 90.
13.
Arizona was led by Gardner with 20 points, 8 assists.
Oh.
Kansas was led by Chamberlain with 21 points, 7 rebounds. Manning with 12 points, 11 rebounds. Pierce with 28 points.
Wow. Kansas, yeah, Arizona won by 13, which was good on them. Gardner and Terry and all them. That's good. And Kansas lost by 13. Yeah, 28 from Pierce, 20 from Chamberlain. But guess what? Kansas won by 19 against Arizona on home turf. Arizona won by 13. 19 minus 13 is 6. So by just 1 point, Kansas got enough to beat Arizona and not have to go to a tiebreaker. So yeah, I feel bad for Arizona, but based on that, Kansas survives by 1 point, and they won't have to play a tiebreaker. They'll be the home team personally, but no. So yeah, so it's gonna be Kansas who will go to the quarterfinals as the 7th seed. Now, despite Michigan and Duke going to a tiebreaker, because Kansas is the third. Kansas would be the third best seed, second or third best teams. Kansas gets to host the quarterfinals, best of 3. So Kansas is technically the home team in their quarterfinal. They don't know who they face, but they're the home team technically. And then we will have. So it's a party tonight. Yeah, Georgetown. Yeah, I gotta make sure the BK is right there. Only 2 teams use the BK system. One is in, one's out. NC State, Louisville. Louisville has to go to NC State because NC State went to Louisville, right? Yes. So let's see what the point system is here. 2 points.
The final score, NC State 95, Louisville 89. NC State was led by Carr with 20 points, 15 rebounds, Thompson with 21 points, Monroe with 23 points. Louisville was led by Unseld with 31 points, 15 rebounds, Wheat with 12 points, 10 assists.
So Louisville won by like over 20 points. NC State only won by 6. So that means by points, Louisville survives. That's over 31 points. They didn't have to lose by much. They could lose by a few. It give NC State some hope for the future, like Carr and Burleson. But the fact is that because Louisville only lost by 6, point differential, they will move on to the quarterfinals as the 8th seed. But Louisville will get home court for the best of 3. The question is their opponent is not yet be determined. Exhibition, 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 exhibition. Top 64 franchise teams. It will be Nova versus Cincy. So Villanova has to go to Cincy. Time to go to Cincinnati. Well, Villanova won the last game. Let's see what happens here.
The final score, Villanova 95,
Overtime
Cincinnati 92. Villanova was led by Cincinnati was led by Robertson with 23 points, 11 rebounds.
That was overtime. I'm just thinking, do I give Cincy another chance? Well, Villanova won. Oh, no, sorry, that's right. Villanova won both games anyhow. All right. Yeah, Villanova won both games. What am I thinking? All right, so Villanova won both games. They won this game in overtime, which was pretty impressive, to say the least. Oscar Robertson played 51 minutes. Man, he didn't want to get off the court. Well, Kenyon Martin fouled out with 6 fouls. So Villanova, because they won double, they beat Cincy. They're in the quarterfinals. Now the question is, there is one little tiny problem. Is seeding. Seeding is the big problem because we have to do Michigan Duke because they combined to win. Michigan won by 5, but they only won by 5, which means they have to play at Kansas. No, they have to play Michigan at Duke. So they have to play Duke at a neutral court, mind you. So Michigan will face Duke at a neutral court. Winner take all. Duke. Here's what happens: if Duke wins, they are the 4th seed. They will take on Ohio State in the quarterfinals, which means that Georgetown will face Kansas and Nova will face Louisville. With Kansas and Louisville getting the benefit of doubt. Yeah, so as I say, Duke wins, they'll face Ohio State, which means Georgetown will face Kansas and Louisville and Nova will battle. If Michigan wins, they face Kansas. Yeah, if Michigan wins, they face Kansas. Georgetown, which means, yeah, they face Kansas. No, that means that means Ohio State faces Kansas, right? Ohio State would face Kansas. Michigan would face Louisville. Yeah, Michigan would face Louisville, and Georgetown would face Villanova. Okay, I think I screwed up a few things, but here we go. Who wins?
The final score, Duke 95, Michigan 83. Duke was led by Williams with 16 points, 11 assists.
Duke wins.
Battier with 22 points. Boozer with 14 points, 12 rebounds. Michigan was led by Tomjanovich with 22 points, 11 rebounds. Bunton with 17 points, 12 rebounds.
Well, Michigan tried their best, but in the end, Duke used only 9 players. They knew they had to bust everyone's hump. Duke cut cheese, so Duke beats Michigan. They will now face Ohio State for the quarterfinals, which means Georgetown will face Kansas, and Villanova will take on Louisville. Those are your so Ohio State, Duke, Georgetown, Kansas, Nova, Louisville, and Purdue, Kentucky. Those are your quarterfinals. So that's what will happen in the quarterfinals. A few major upsets, though, too. Purdue and Ohio State weren't expected to do well, but now they're in the quarterfinals. But, it's just hard pressed. But anyway, this should be fun. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond.